Sure, sure. I have a couple of stories that, for me, are kind of illustrative of what a horrible situation that was for people and their families. I've been at this for better than 5 decades now, and so I go all the way back. I was contacted early on, after I'd been in working for a couple of years, by a sister of a person who lived in one of our facilities, one of our state facilities. And she was concerned that her sister was being abused. She was very nervous about meeting with me, insisted on meeting with me at a restaurant where she could observe me coming in alone, and I just was really nervous. And part of her nervousness was she was afraid it would get back to her mother. Her mother was really intimidated by the system and threatened with having her daughter returned home without help and other kinds of things. And the story was relayed to me that this woman was being abused, probably sexually. She was a young woman. I mean, she was a young teen. I had on my staff at that point a woman who had some experience with people with disabilities who'd been abused, and I sent she and another staff member out to see this woman. And they came back and said they were confident that she was being abused. So I tried to visit the director with an attorney, and we were going to talk about what ought to happen and what should happen and what they'd have to clean up and so on and so forth. Now, this is back in the early 70s, so I mean, it's a long time ago. And we were ushered into, by 2 very big men, ushered into the outer chambers of where the director's office was, and we could see in the office, and he was standing on the phone looking out the window with his back to us. And we sat and cooled our heels for a while, and he turned around and hung the phone up and said something to whoever was in the office, and they left, and we were escorted in. We tried to talk to him about what was going on and what we suspected, etc. And it was now clear why we had waited so long, because it wasn't very long before I felt a hand on my arm, and then a second hand. And kneeling next to me was an older woman asking me to pray with her that her daughter would not come to harm. They had somehow summoned the mom of this person to try to dissuade anybody from doing anything. It was as evil as it sounds. I couldn't imagine that there'd be people who'd carry something like that out. A lawsuit ensued. To the shame of the ARC and Protection and Advocacy at that point, who refused to start a case because they were in negotiations about where the government was going to put that office in state government or in an agency or whatever, and the ARC of Michigan at that point housed it and wanted to keep it. So we went finally to legal aid and found someone who would start a lawsuit.